What is the most chilling, thank God it was just a dream, waking up experience of your life? Hi guys, Em here. I wanted to take a quick second and just thank you for checking out our channel today. I hope you enjoy. Story 1. I've always heard that when you die in a dream, you wake up. A couple of times I haven't woken up. The first one was the most elaborate. I had apparently been accused of some stupid crime, like petty theft, and sentenced to death. We had planned to appeal the sentence, but the deadline crept up on us and it was too late. I was brought to a church-like building and had to walk down the center aisle and kneel on a red velvet pillow. Someone came in with a katana to chop my head off, but I don't remember that actually happening. All of a sudden, it's the day after the scheduled execution, and I'm just sitting in my parents' living room, staring out the window. I vaguely remember that I should be dead now and wonder if I should be executed, but she doesn't respond. My dad appears in a dream. Then my mother appears at the top of the stairs that lead into the living room. She looks terribly sad. I call out to another doorway, and he also looks sad. He won't respond to me either. At that moment, I realize that I am dead after all, and just hanging around my parents' house as a ghost. I scream at them, trying to get them to know I'm here, but it's useless. I got really depressed and started thinking about all the things I would never get to do in life. Have a job. This dream was back in high school. Go to college, get married, have kids. I woke up in the middle of that spiral of negative thoughts. The other death dream was a little less depressing. I was sitting around with a bunch of other people when we all suddenly got the same telepathic message. Apparently, aliens had invaded the Earth and had decided to end all human life. There was a countdown from 30, at the end of which, we were told, we'd die. I didn't feel any pain, but as the countdown reached its end, I suddenly couldn't open my eyes. I struggled to open them, but it was useless. Again, there was a sudden jump to the next scene. I was in a dark room about the size of a large conference room. The walls were beautiful wood paneling, and the ceiling looked just like the night sky, full of stars. I was standing along the wall and several other people were there with me, talking quietly amongst themselves. I remember thinking, if this is the afterlife, this isn't so bad. This is a world with things I can recognize. Wood, stars, other people. I was still very sad about never seeing my friends or family again, but the overall feeling was a sense of relief. I was actually a little sad to wake up from that dream. Honestly, yeah, if the afterlife was just hanging out with other people, I think I would be okay with that. Travel around, meet new friends, and just hang out. Sign me up. Oh man, I could actually get a good tabletop role-playing group going, and we would never have to worry about scheduling problems. Seriously, I hope OP's dream is prophetic about the afterlife. Story 2. I have sort of a weird relationship with sleep, in that I'm not great at going from, oh, I'm having a dream, to this is really happening. This leads to a lot of sleep talking and sleep moving. I constantly wake up people I share a bed with, because I'm convinced the bed is full of broken glass or cockroaches, or little white mice, so I need them to absolutely not move while I deal with the problem. But also I can't always be sure that what I've had a dream about isn't real. When I was about 9, I had a dream that for some reason or other, I was the only person in the world who knew about the planet, and he tricked me. I spent about an hour huddled up in my blankets, staring at the wall in the half-light of early morning, thinking, how the heck am I gonna convince everyone that the world is gonna get destroyed? I'm just a kid. No one's ever gonna believe me. But knowing that the fate of the entire world was on my shoulders, I started coming up with plans. Maybe the Prime Minister had like a rocket or something, or some sort of space shield. There had to be a space shield. That sounded like a thing that would probably exist. Then it slowly dawned on me that A, I lived in the middle of nowhere in the UK, which isn't exactly known for being a hub of space discoveries. B, there's no way I would have known that, given that I didn't even own the most beginner-level telescope. And C, it was kind of dumb anyway. I waited an hour or so for my parents to wake up, and then I asked my mom if I'd mentioned anything, you know, sort of space-ish recently. She told me to stop being silly and asked me what I wanted for breakfast. But yeah, for a couple of hours, I legit thought I was gonna have to save the planet, and it was terrifying. Story 3. Earlier in the year, I started seeing a psychiatrist who told me that I was sleep-deprived, to the point of demented, and prescribed me Trazodone along with my other meds to help me sleep. I had to fiddle with the dosage because of the detailed dreams it can cause. I've always had vivid dreams, but holy crap, this stuff is a whole new level. I was not ready for the super vivid, so one night I take my pills and head to bed. Now, I had been kinda sorta seeing this girl that lived near me, but we had a bit of a falling out the week prior. I was adjusting to my meds and having a hard time. So that night, I'm dreaming over at her parents' house, and everyone is freaking out and crying and upset. Apparently, S, we'll call her, had died. I woke up crying, stupendously confused and legitimately in mourning, around 2 in the morning, trying to figure out what the frick was going on. I was barely able to sleep because I was so unsure if it was a dream or reality, and I was actually upset as if she'd actually died. Somebody commented, I was on Trazodone for a while as well. The dreams I had while I was on it were horrifying. I rarely remember my dreams, but I have had a few really vivid, realistic ones, and it messes with you. It is amazing how long after waking up you cling to the feelings and thoughts. Honestly, one of the worst ones was a dream where I had won the lottery. At the time, I was poor as heck, and it was all like, all of my money problems are solved. I woke up still feeling that way, and slowly the realization hit that I was still broke, and good lord. Talk about shattering my dreams. Story 4. Well, I have this reoccurring dream that I've been a serial killer my whole life, but somehow repress the memories. As I think back to each victim, I start to realize how petty my excuses were. Think the business card scene from American Psycho, but worse. Like somebody looked at me funny, so I started following them and killed them. People I didn't even know. People who had entire lives that I destroyed. Usually I'm not doing the killing as the dream takes place after the fact. But in a couple of cases, I've definitely been chasing somebody down with a knife thinking, I don't want to kill this person, but now they've seen me chase them with a knife. Things can't go back to normal and they'll try me and put me in jail. So I keep chasing them. Then I wake up in a mix of WTF brain and oh thank God. I also sometimes dream that I get so angry, I curse out my wife until she's crying, declaring that I've decided to divorce her. When I wake up, I'm just happy to see her. My therapist would have a field day. Somebody commented, you probably are a serial killer, but have repressed the memories, so they have to come out in dreams. Story 5. I have serious night terrors. They're so realistic. Just me going about my normal day and then something stops working. Lights won't turn on, my phone won't work. When that happens, I consciously know I'm having a night terror and try to wake myself up. I'll try to scream, but nothing comes out. When in reality, I am screaming. I've seen demons crawling over me in bed, dark figures crawling up my stairs. Things on my ceiling growling at me. The worst part is sometimes I have dreams within dreams that I can't get out of. It's a vicious cycle and it's terrifying. Somebody commented, this happened to me recently and it's never happened before. I had a dream that my son was standing next to me and I could hear a demon or monster in the room. I was trying to move so I could rescue him, but obviously couldn't. Apparently, I was just thrashing in bed making noise. 0 out of 10. Would not want to experience again. You have my sympathy if this is a regular thing for you. I had a few intense dreams like that, and some of the sleep paralysis episodes to go along with them sometimes. Hasn't happened to me in like a decade, thankfully, but that kind of crap is next level awful in the moment. It's like you got emotionally frozen in a moment of pure panic and fear. Like you might feel when jump scared in a movie, but it just lasts and lasts. Not a good time. Story 6. Oh, this one was brutal. Generally, I don't really get scared in my dreams. When I wake up from a nightmare that is very intense and involves me being chased or having to fight, it doesn't usually faze me. However, I had a dream that our town was being invaded by an aircraft. They blew up the mall beside my house, and I turned to my wife in bed and said, OMG, that's the mall. I proceeded to get up and start putting clothes on and was screaming at my wife to get up with me as she was just frozen. Then I woke up in my own bed and I looked out at the foot of my bed and my daughter was there. She was in PJs and all she said was, help, really quietly, and her nose started gushing blood. Then I actually woke up my wife, and I told her that I was not going back to sleep that night. It haunted me for days. Story 7. Growing up, my dad was always overseas. Had crazy nightmares about him being killed in action. Brutally, if I must add. All just out of reach. I remember them being so realistic I would wake up and it would come to a slight shock and huge relief to me when my little blue letter would be awaiting for me at the breakfast table, and my mom crossing another day off the countdown. Pretty traumatizing for my small 5 to 18-year-old self. He's retired now, the dreams just stopped a few years back. Triggered an insane phobia of ever losing him though. Somebody commented, I had a similar one. I don't have much contact with my dad, and he was a Marine who did a tour in Iraq during the first Gulf War. In this dream, someone casually mentioned that he had burned to death inside a Humvee in Iraq, and I didn't even know he deployed again. Story 8. In my dream, I was an X-Files type of investigator, and we heard that crabs were fighting crocodiles in the mountains. So we went along to check it out, and the crabs were actually scorpion alien facehugger things that were burrowing into the crocodiles' heads and assimilating with their brains to take them over. So I saw a scorpion thingy crawl inside a croc's head and walked over to it to poke a stick in the hole. That's when the scorpion facehugger burst out of the hole and jumped right at me. I woke up screaming and clutching my chest. I can definitely see how those facehuggers could worm their way into your nightmares. For me, it was Jurassic Park. Saw it in theaters, and for the next probably 10 years, if I had a nightmare, 9 times out of 10, that nightmare included raptors chasing me, or a T-Rex bursting through the wall. Goddamn, that is a scary movie though. Worth the nightmares. Story 9. Can we count recurring dreams? I often have recurring dreams that I'm not actually enrolled in a class I'm sitting in, or that I've missed a class for an entire semester and I'm showing up on the last day. Sometimes it's that I have a huge project due that day, but I didn't know about it and now I'm gonna fail. Lots of school-driven anxiety. Maybe that's why I joined the military, lol. Probably why I'm scared to attempt a master's degree. Somebody commented, my school dreams are weird. They rarely involve projects and essays, but instead, I never know my class schedule or where my classes are. And I'm always way older, like I had to come back as an adult. Story 10. I've been clean from drugs for about 18 months now. The first couple of weeks were agonizing. Physical withdrawal coupled with crippling insomnia. I wanted to die. Fast forward to about the 30-day mark, finally sleeping 6 hours or so a night, and my dreams had returned. Of course, one of the first dreams I have is of me copping dope, sitting in my car about to push the needle in, and I wake up, dripping sweat, panicking, and hyperventilating. Took a few minutes to gather myself and realize I hadn't freaked up and relapsed and was only dreaming. This would happen a few times a week. Now it doesn't even cross my mind anymore. Somebody commented, awesome job on getting clean. Story 11. I recently had a dream where I was forcibly restrained by family members and had to choose between losing my eye or my left arm. I chose to lose the arm. They cut off at the shoulder and the sense of loss was enormous. I was getting this sense of doom, mortality, sheer dread from it. I'd never have my arm again. My body was violated, unwhole, unclean. Then they made me eat it. That's when I woke up terrified and found that I still had my arm and hand. The relief was beyond anything I felt, and it really made me stop and take a look at things. Normally, I don't have dreams like that. Well, that is pretty damn terrifying. Also, not the choice I would have made. If given the choice, I'll give up depth perception before I give up being able to give 2 middle fingers at once. Oh, and I guess other stuff you use 2 hands for? But mostly the double bird. Story 12. I had the most vivid dreams of myself and other friends all at a party. One of my very tiny male friends likes to get drunk and try to fight people. None of us usually give in, we just laugh. But in this dream, he was all over me and I said, all right, let's fight. And the first punch I threw, it connected with his head and it exploded like a watermelon. I was sitting on the floor holding his head saying, dang, we were just messing around. Now I'm gonna go to jail. And then I woke up in a sweat and had to double check and make sure I didn't actually make my friend's head explode. Story 13. I had a recursive false awakening nightmare where I woke up in my bed, but things were weird and quickly turned scary. And I woke up shouting, but things went weird again, etc. The 5th time I woke up, it was for real, but I didn't trust it for a good 5 minutes. Somebody commented, I had a nightmare where I walked into my living room and saw myself sleeping on the sofa. It scared me awake on the sofa. I caught my breath, and then I saw a dark shadow standing in the doorway to my bedroom. Then I woke up screaming for real in my bed. Slept with the light on the rest of the night. Story 14. For me, it was a couple of years ago. It was an odd sort of dream. It was basically just my normal going about my daily routine. But then I started thinking back to several years ago when I snuck into a kid's summer camp and murdered a kid without getting caught. And then there was this rush of inescapable horror over what I had done, and knowing I'd have that on me for the rest of my life. Then I woke up and I was still horrified at myself. I think it was like a good 15 or 20 minutes before I was fully convinced it was a dream and that I never killed anyone. Ugh, I can't say I've had a dream that lingered making me think I killed someone, but I've had it for doing other legal things. It really is so weird to hang on to that belief for actual minutes. You sit there with reality and dreams unraveled together, trying to separate everything. It's almost scarier than the dream, losing your grip on what is real. Story 15. One time in a dream, my mom was trying to kill me via lethal injection. She wanted to kill me for a stupid reason too, for not eating my pizza. I remember the anxiety and absolute fear I had when she held my arm down, and the calmness on her face when she told me to hold still. She acted as if I wasn't gonna die and that I'd be fine after a few minutes. I'm not sure what scared me more, the sheer calmness of the situation, or the fact she was naive enough in the dream to believe this was a small thing. Story 16. Got shot in the back of the head and died in one of my dreams. Death was nothing. I was saying something when I died and the words just couldn't come out, and I faded to complete darkness and nothing. Somebody commented, I had a dream that I got the electric chair. It wasn't in a prison, it was in the drama room of my old school. They pulled the switch and I heard a crack, then just kind of floated across the ceiling. Surprised that no one was looking at me. I realized I was a ghost or my soul or something. Then I woke up. Story 17. It may sound stupid, but it really terrifies me. I was shopping like a normal day. Suddenly, people had disappeared and all the stores had closed. It was so weird. So I started looking for a way out. There were no exits, no ways out at all. This scared me so much that I started to run to get the frick out, even though I knew I had no way. It looked like I was running in circles, that feeling of panic and being trapped. It was so terrifying. I woke up with my heart in my mouth. Hey, that doesn't sound stupid at all. I think it would be so scary, mostly because of how real the rest of it would feel. Everything seems normal, but then people are gone and you can't get out. Monsters you can sometimes brush aside as too fantastical, but something like that dances a little too close to reality, and that's the stuff that can really mess you up. Story 18. I had like 5 essays due tomorrow that were worth my entire grade for school. So I decided to push the essay when it was late at night. I go to bed, fall asleep, and the next thing you know, it's morning time. School starts at 7, and right now it is 6:30. I get a huge rush of panic, my heartbeat has increased, and I feel the regret inside of me. Then I woke up. Somebody commented, just reading that was stressful. Story 19. I can vividly remember a dream where I was sitting cross-legged in front of a large stone memorial with what seemed like an endless amount of names in it. I leaned back and propped myself up with my hands, at which point I realized that I was sitting in an inch thick of blood, which spanned as far as I could see in every direction. I could hear explosions, screaming, and gunfire just over the horizon all around me. Story 20. During my junior year of high school, I had a dream where I woke up, and it was the first day of 6th grade. I had all the memories leading up to junior year, but everyone acted like a stranger, because I technically hadn't met them yet. Definitely one of my more mind-effy-up dreams I've had. Somebody commented, the idea of having to start all over again really freaks me too. Story 21. It just began with me punching my puppy to death without actually killing it. So it just kept suffering. When I woke up, I was in quite a shock and went to hold my pup. Stayed that way as long as I could. Somebody commented, sounds like your subconscious took cute aggression to the next level. It's a pretty typical thing, and it appears that it just got amplified in your dream. Somebody commented, I honestly do that when I just have thoughts about, what if my pup got out and ran away or got hurt? I get so emotional I have to go cuddle my girls, and that is just a passing worry, not even a dream. Story 22. All my teeth started falling out during adult time. Blood and teeth all over the face. She starts screaming. I'm terrified. Woke up. Spent a good 20 minutes after that just laying in bed appreciating my teeth. Somebody commented, it's weird. I think the teeth falling out thing is relatively common. At least here on Reddit. I've seen it crop up here quite a few times. Story 23. When I was in college, I always had the dreams that there was one class I completely forgot I was enrolled in and didn't realize until finals. They then updated. I didn't start having these dreams until a good 5 years after I finished school. I have them semi-regularly now, as a person who's again very firmly done with school. Story 24. I have a lot of body horror dreams. Teeth falling off, eye lenses rubbed out, because I rubbed it too hard, leg got jammed in gutter under snow and snapped clean off, trypnophobia, all holes appearing on my arm, so I wake up feeling relieved a lot. Somebody commented, oh god, the holes, stop it. I do not really know who trypnophobia holes are, and I refuse to look it up. However, one of my non-dinosaur recurring nightmares has always been my teeth falling out, or just being able to pull them out easily and trying to stick them back. I hate those dreams so much, which is why I'm so diligent about brushing and flossing. Also, yes, I've seen how dream journals interpret that dream, and it's interesting. Story 25. Oh God, the one where my sister died. Woke up in the middle of the night and immediately called home. Different time zone, so it was day there. Never even told my family that I had that dream. Just that I suddenly wanted to talk to them. Story 26. Just last night, I killed my friend with a water bottle. Hit him in an elevator, felt guilty. Turned myself in, went to jail. Got scared of a bully named Bob. Bob was walking towards me with a razor and woke up. I hate Bob. Story 27. Cheating on my wife with her friend while my wife stands at the end of the bed screaming divorce threats. But I just keep going and ignoring her. Legitimately thought I was in deep trouble, but then woke up. Story 28. My mom was a demon trying to kill me. In the dream, the demon had successfully killed me just as I woke up in terror. I saw my mom opening my bedroom blind saying, "Oh, hey, good morning." "Hey, Mom." "Good morning, sweetie. Are you hungry?" "Not really." "Well, I am." Story 29. Literally chilling. I dreamt of a world ending where everyone was freezing to death. Everything was in light freezing blue. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.